Google Maps now shows business short names. I couldn't give any less damns about this than what
Google Maps has been changing a lot recently. Seriously, like a lot of things are changing inside the dashboard very quickly. Even some of the traditional ranking signals seem to might be different now. The way things are being filtered, and it's definitely a time of flux, I would say, in Google Maps. It just continues. We talk about it almost every week. It seems like something in Google Maps. Yeah. And obviously, the short name is, who cares, right? If you're a manipulator like we are, if you're an SEO, we manipulate.
Holy shit!
Right? To manipulate.
That stuff doesn't matter to us. That's peripheral, whatever, icing on the cake. But the actual like nuts and bolts of maps are, like, we're seeing changes happening. Hard to super quantify what they are right now and what they mean, because again, they're happening so fast. Even like filtering issues, I'm testing some of stuff right now where traditionally things you would do to unfilter listings might not be working anymore, and it leads. So there's some cool things that well, I don't know if it's cool, but it's definitely some changes that are coming. So stay tuned as we figure this out. We'll figure it out with you. Right?
Now that my mom always wondered what I really did for a living. Now if she watches this, she'll know I'm a manipulator.
Professional manipulator.
I am a manipulator. No, what's really nice is that you do have. I'm not trying to sound like egotistical, but or anything like that. But it's nice that you guys do have, people like us who we are really knee deep in the GMB space, and we're constantly getting more and more data to look at. We're constantly testing stuff, and as we keep up with it, we're always refining our packages, our GMB packages at web20ranker.com, where you can buy GMB packages from us that we're always improving. And it just helps having, and then as people order, we see the results of campaigns, and we're just constantly improving over the years. And then I guess we also have another unfair advantage. We're up over 221,000 managed listings through localvikinggut.com, where we manage listings, and we're constantly improving it with a very impressive roadmap.
The best local rank tracking and reporting solution right now on the market, bar none. There's nothing else for local out there that's as good as Local Viking for reporting or ranking tracking.
But we just do so much.
We needed it. Like literally, Web 20 has needed local rank tracking for a long time. Yeah. Like, that's literally why I helped fund LV. You know what I mean? That's why we got involved, was because it could be this thing that would be so beneficial.
That was a much more hardcore flex than when you told people you're always in quality. The LV's a harder flex. I flex LV really hard too. That's a better flex.
I don't get to flex anything today.
Well, you made the list we talked about.
Oh, I did. Oh, the list that had crap on it that you didn't care about.
Well, he showed me a listing the other day where that was possibly possum filter. Right?
Yeah.
We went in and looked at. He had already did traditionally what you would do to unfilter a possum filter, a pin nudge, right? And it didn't seem to work. So could it be other filters, or is that now something different? So I actually have another listing that wanted to test as well. So we were thinking it's possum filter, and I went in and tried it. So we're monitoring that. Things are different though. We would have typically saw good improvements. Also have a test where I did some GMB name modifications and saw really negative results when historically I should have saw really positive results from it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So a lot of things are changing. A lot of the traditional maps hacks that you're hearing about might have been plugged
or nerfed,
if you will. They might be on to it. We know that they're working on how to re-rank service area businesses to be more fair for them. We know that's from Google's mouth. We know that. It makes sense that, we know that Google Maps literally is looking at the black black hat community to find out what the exploits and hacks are, and they're pushing that info back to the engineering team to try to close those down as fast as possible.
Something else to consider there.
They do that. Like, trust me, those product level experts push that info directly into the engineering team to try to shut that down when they find it. So,
Just something to consider where you're talking about the name changes. That's something, traditionally, for quite some time, if you slid a keyword in there or a partial keyword, it really helped. And this is 100% theory, by the way. I'm not going to be like some of these groups where it's like, we figured it out. It's like, it's 100% theory from my point of view, but what if when you modify the name, it almost resets the trust, where it's like, oh, is it a different business owner now? Is it right? Yeah. Like, you're modifying the entity.
Yeah.
It could simply be a complete, so before we knew that they never disconnected, well, they used to disconnect all your brand mentions from your CID, like every week they updated that, long time ago. Then they stopped doing that, and they didn't disconnect until you got your listing suspended, and then if you got re-verified, it would have been disconnected from those, they're called brand docs or documents, but they're brand mentions. They're basically like votes. Yeah. So now that could definitely be, I was thinking of that too. If we change the name, did they disconnect all of our brand mentions from that name now?
Which would make good sense.
There's just recently.
Who knows? It's tough. It's theory, right?
You said you updated a business name, right? And I assumed you put a keyword or something in there.
Put a locate. The keyword was already in there. I added the location.
Oh, okay. We actually had a client recently that their name changed. They had keywords in the name, and then someone must have updated it or something from the front end of Google, and it changed it just to the brand, and they lost a ton of rankings, and we went back in and changed it back, and a lot of them just came right back.
Okay, that's interesting.
So thinking about, is Google resetting or kind of disassociating that document pattern?
Yeah,
that could be very much the case.
It seems like the disconnecting connect to the brand docs is more pertinent than the actual keyword in the name. It's the authority that name carries.
Yeah, because it already has all the signals to it, and if like we're still testing.
Yeah, it's theory. We'll figure it out.
Changing.
Like I said, oh, I'm going to add this, and we should see it. We should just take over and dominate, and it was a complete other effect. Good thing I have other listings that would be testing on.
Even filtering is looking really weird, like diagnosing that. I don't know if you've noticed that too. Like, just when you do those filtering searches, it's like they show up sometimes, they don't.
No, yeah, it's always that's they always want to confuse you with that.
Yeah.
Interesting stuff.
We'll see.
It's a little bit of theory sprinkled on.
Yeah.
We're always testing. We are preparing. I spoke to the engineering team today. We're preparing to do some next level data mining on almost 250,000 freaking GMBs.
Probably will be 250,000 soon.
We're growing rapidly. It's very exciting. But we're going to start data mining at a level that I haven't seen anyone, and release the results. That's the difference. Like, I'm not going to sit and say we're the biggest manager of GMBs on the planet. That'd be silly.
Anything?
Yeah, we're going to make you think how cool we are as we talk about these tests. But we'll definitely we'll build some correlation charts for people, and we'll release a pretty formal white paper on it. So that's something we're going to be working on over the next couple of months.
That's exciting.
Data mining and seeing what we come up with based on data.
Yeah.
That's test, right? Chaz
part.
is always testing, and we're pushing the engineering team to mine data, and it's all we can do for you, ladies and gentlemen. That's all we can do.